Chosen one, lock your attention on this message right now. That quiet shift happening inside you, the one you cannot explain to anyone around you. Stop trying to name it and just listen. The enemy has been working overtime this week for one reason and one reason only. He sees what is being built on the inside of you, and he knows that once it finishes forming, the entire atmosphere around your life changes forever. It all ends tomorrow. The confusion about why people are pulling away, the frustration of feeling like you no longer fit in spaces you used to call home, the exhaustion of trying to explain a transformation you do not yet have words for. But here is what you need to hear. It is not ending because time finally ran out on your struggle. It is ending because of what you have been doing in secret. Think back to that moment this week when you chose to stay quiet instead of lowering yourself to match someone else's energy, when you walked away from a conversation that would have drained you, when you sat alone and chose peace over noise, even though part of you wanted to chase what used to feel familiar. You did not know it then, but that decision was not isolation. That was elevation. That specific act of restraint was the moment you signed off on a new frequency, one the people around you cannot yet tune into. You did not fall behind. You ascended. You did not find this message by accident. The algorithm did not bring you here. The Most High did. This is a divine appointment that was scheduled long before you opened this screen today. You are standing at the threshold of something your vocabulary does not yet have a name for. Stay until the very last second of this message, because in the next few minutes I am going to hand you the spiritual verdict that explains why certain people have gone silent around you. I am going to walk you through the exact transformation happening beneath the surface of your life right now, so you can stop mistaking your glow for a problem. And at the end, I am going to give you a declaration that seals this new chapter and locks the door on the version of you that kept shrinking to make others comfortable. Do not click away. Your future self is on the other side of this message. And if you leave now, you leave before you hear the verdict that finally makes sense of everything. I know what the last 72 hours have felt like. The atmosphere has not just been quiet. It has been strange. Like something shifted in the room, but nobody else felt the tremor. Maybe you were standing in front of the mirror this week and noticed something different in your own eyes. Not vanity, not pride, something deeper. A settled quality you cannot remember having before. Or maybe you were in the middle of a conversation with someone you have known for years and suddenly felt like a stranger in your own story, like you were watching the exchange from a distance and realizing you no longer belonged inside it. Perhaps you have been receiving attention you did not ask for, people looking at you a moment longer than usual, compliments that feel like they are describing someone you are still becoming, old connections reaching back out after months of silence, and you cannot understand why they are returning now when you feel like you have barely left your house. You feel different. And the terrifying part is that you cannot fully explain why. In this disorientation, the enemy has started whispering a very specific lie. He is telling you that something is wrong with you, that the distance growing between you and certain people is rejection, that the loneliness of this season is punishment, that the reason your old circle is shrinking is because you failed some relational test, said the wrong thing, became too much, or simply were not enough to hold anyone's interest. He is replaying specific moments in your mind, that conversation where you set a boundary and the other person went cold, that friendship that faded without a formal ending, that room you walked into where you felt unseen even though you were standing right there. The accuser is telling you that you are losing your people, that your transformation is costing you more than it is giving you, that maybe you should go back, shrink back, fit back in. But I need you to hear what the scripture actually says about this moment. 1 Peter 2:9 says, But you are a chosen generation, a royal priesthood, a holy nation, his own special people, that you may proclaim the praises of him who called you out of darkness into his marvelous light. Listen to that. Called out of darkness into marvelous light, not dragged, called. And when you step into light, you become visible in a way that darkness cannot compete with. That is not arrogance. That is assignment. The people pulling away are not rejecting you. They are reacting to a light they do not yet understand and cannot match. The heaviness you feel is not the weight of failure. It is the weight of becoming. It is the pressure of a caterpillar against the walls of a cocoon it has already outgrown. The enclosure feels tighter, not because you are shrinking, but because you have grown beyond what used to contain you. You think the loneliness of this season means you are losing. You think the strange silence in relationships that used to feel loud means something has gone wrong. But let me reframe your reality right now. The silence is not absence, it is selection. God is not removing people from your life as punishment. He is curating your next chapter with intention. And the attraction you are beginning to carry, the kind that pulls strangers and returns prodigals and makes rooms take notice, that is not luck. That is the residue of a soul that chose surrender over performance, quiet over chaos, and depth over approval. You are not losing your glow. You are finally living inside it. Hit the like button if this message found you at the exact moment you needed it. Drop a comment below and tell me, what is one space this week where you felt like you no longer belonged? And now you're wondering if that feeling was not rejection but redirection. And now I need to tell you something that goes even deeper than what you just heard. Because some messages don't just inform, they activate. If something stirred deep in your spirit just now, you may be ready to receive the Chosen One's blueprint. This sacred guide reveals the 8 divine patterns behind your calling, your suffering, and your destiny. It also comes with the full audiobook, so you can absorb it during prayer, rest, or quiet moments with God. And for those called to speak His truth, you'll also receive Activating Your Prophet Mantle, a powerful bonus ebook for those carrying a prophetic assignment. The link is in the first pinned comment, but only for a limited time. Now let's go deeper into what is actually happening to you. What an extraordinary paradox you've been navigating. A silent, internal revolution often misinterpreted by the very heart it inhabits. What you've intimately labeled as an unbearable, aching loneliness, a gnawing sense of isolation, is actually a magnificent, accelerated unfolding of your spiritual senses. It is discernment, a sacred faculty, developing with such velocity that your current relational landscape struggle to contain or comprehend it. Imagine for a moment a master artisan whose hands have become so exquisitely sensitive to the subtle imperfections in clay that they can detect flaws invisible to the untrained eye. This heightened sensitivity, though initially appearing as a burden, a feeling of being too much or out of sync, is in truth a divine gift, a sophisticated spiritual radar calibrating to higher frequencies. The vast majority of humanity journeys through life, ensnared in the illusion that this internal dissonance signifies disconnection, when in fact it heralds a profound deepening of connection to the authentic self and to the divine. This confusion, this persistent mislabeling of an awakening as an absence, constructs an invisible cage around the soul, preventing it from truly understanding the seismic shifts occurring within. You perceive a chasm, a growing distance between yourself and others, and your immediate conditioned response is to interpret it as a personal failing, a lack of belonging, a fundamental estrangement. But discernment is not estrangement. It is simply your spirit, the very essence of your being, learning to acutely and instantaneously recognize the vibrational resonance of alignment versus misalignment. It's a spiritual GPS system, recalibrating itself, sensing true north before your conscious mind has even had the opportunity to gather the data, process the variables, and construct a logical, defensible argument for its findings. Your soul, in its ancient wisdom, operates on a different timetable than your intellectual faculties. It possesses an innate knowing, an intuitive wisdom that transcends logical processing. Already fully aware of the truths your mind is still laboriously arguing about, debating, or attempting to rationalize away. As you continue to traverse this accelerated season of transformation, this period of intense spiritual maturation, you will find yourself increasingly operating from this place of precognitive knowing. You will feel truths, sense energies, and perceive realities long before the empirical evidence or rational explanations manifest. This exquisite sensitivity, this rapid spiritual intake, is not a sign of instability, a fragile emotional state, or an ungrounded disposition. On the contrary, it is the undeniable hallmark of spiritual maturity, arriving not in a predictable linear fashion, but with an unexpected divine acceleration, ahead of any schedule you or the world might have anticipated. It's akin to a blossoming flower, pushing through the soil with an urgency and beauty that surpasses all expectations, defying the constraints of typical growth patterns. Consider, for a profound moment, the ancient narrative of Daniel in Babylon. He was not merely existing in Babylon, he was immersed, saturated within its very fabric. It was a sprawling, opulent, yet spiritually desolate empire, a cultural vortex designed to assimilate, to dissolve individual distinctiveness into a collective, uniform consciousness. The forces surrounding Daniel were relentless, a pervasive current urging him to consume its tainted delicacies, to adopt its idolatrous philosophies, to bow to its false gods and fleeting authorities. This was more than societal pressure. It was a spiritual assault, a cunning attempt to reprogram his very being, to conform his inner landscape to the barrenness of his external environment. Yet within Daniel, there pulsed an unwavering core, a sacred recalcitrance that simply would not yield. This was not born of haughty arrogance, nor was it a defiant act of superficial rebellion for rebellion's sake. His resistance stemmed from an infinitely deeper wellspring. He had cultivated an intimacy with the Most High, a profound, continuous saturation in the divine presence that had so refined his spiritual palate, so attuned his inner being, that anything misaligned with that holy resonance became not just unappealing, but literally impossible to stomach. It was an internal alchemy. When the king's rich food and wine were offered, Daniel's spirit, having tasted the bread of heaven and the living water, simply recoiled. The textures, the flavors, the very essence of Babylon's offerings were discordant with the divine melody within him. The sacred text in Daniel 1:8 reveals the pivotal moment. But Daniel purposed in his heart that he would not defile himself with the portion of the king's delicacies, nor with the wine which he drank. Notice the deliberate choice of words. He purposed it. This was not a public declaration, a dramatic pronouncement for the masses to witness, nor was it an Instagram post seeking affirmation. It was a silent, internal decree, a sovereign act of will enacted in the deepest sanctuary of his being. The heart, that sacred, unseen chamber where genuine transformation truly begins. It was a private covenant he forged with his God, a resolution so profound and so deeply rooted that no external force could dislodge it. And it was precisely this quiet, internal decision, this unyielding commitment forged in the unseen crucible of his spirit, that served as the grand architect, irrevocably altering the entire trajectory of his outer world. His faithfulness in the unseen realm empowered his triumph in the seen, demonstrating that true revolution often begins in the hushed chambers of a resolute heart. Just like Daniel, You too have been making these sacred, quiet decisions. Perhaps you haven't given them a name. Perhaps they felt like difficult choices, like walking away from comfortable compromises or saying no to paths of least resistance. But these are not mere preferences. They are divine proclamations uttered in the silence of your spirit. And here is a profound truth, an insight often overlooked, misunderstood, or even rejected by the majority. The intense spiritual warfare, the relentless pressure, the subtle attacks, or the overt assaults you've been experiencing are not indicators of your failure, nor are they evidence of your weakness or lack of spiritual fortitude. On the contrary, the adversary, the unseen opposition, is attacking you not because you are failing, but precisely because you are succeeding. He is launching these strategic strikes because within the hallowed, inaccessible sanctuary of your heart, you have purposed something. You have made a covenant, a divine resolution, an unshakable commitment that he simply cannot touch, cannot corrupt, cannot access. And this resolute, unyielding purpose, this seed of destiny planted deep within your spirit, is terrifying him. Imagine a thief who discovers a hidden vault, impenetrable and utterly beyond his reach, containing the most precious treasure. His frustration, his rage, his relentless attempts to breach it are not because the vault is empty or weak, but because it holds an immense power he cannot seize. Your unwavering purpose, forged in divine alignment, is that impenetrable vault, a secret weapon that disarms the enemy simply by its existence. He attacks because your light is becoming too bright, your foundation too solid, your direction too clear. He attacks because you are becoming unmanageable to his schemes, unshakable in your truth, and unstoppable in your divine trajectory. Your quiet obedience has become his loudest warning. But here is where it goes deeper. But the unfolding of this divine process reaches even more profound depths. That inner decision you made, that quiet, private resolve forged in the crucible of your spirit, does not merely alter the trajectory of your outward path. It fundamentally transforms your very atmosphere, the energetic signature, the spiritual vibrational frequency that emanates from your being. Think of it as a personal energetic field, a unique aura of your soul, undergoing a profound recalibration. The very instant you made the conscious, courageous choice to cease consuming what no longer served your sacred assignment, whether that was toxic information, soul-diminishing relationships, or activities that drained your vital life force, a monumental shift was initiated. The moment you consciously disengaged from the exhausting pursuit of validation in rooms, circles, or relationships that were fundamentally incapable of genuinely celebrating your authentic self, because they were never divinely designed to hold your magnitude, you broke an invisible spell. The moment you resolutely chose the profound richness of spiritual depth over the seductive allure of superficial distraction, whether it be endless scrolling, trivial gossip, or empty pursuits, a new current was activated. In that precise quantum moment, something profound and undeniable began to shift in the unseen realms around you. It's a spiritual metamorphosis, a silent restructuring of the energetic scaffolding of your reality. You, in your natural perception, may not yet be able to discern these subtle yet powerful changes with your physical eyes. The spiritual senses are often the first to register these shifts, but their effects quickly ripple into the tangible. The people within your immediate sphere, however, are acutely sensitive to it. They can feel it, even if they cannot articulate it. This is precisely why some of them have begun to experience an inexplicable discomfort in your presence, a subtle unease that wasn't there before. It's why conversations that once flowed effortlessly now feel laden with an unspoken friction, a palpable resistance that creates dissonance instead of harmony. It is not, as your old narrative might tempt you to believe, because you have suddenly become difficult or demanding or aloof. It is far simpler, yet infinitely more profound. It is because you have become fundamentally different. You have elevated your frequency. You are operating on a new spiritual bandwidth. And in a world that often prizes conformity above all else, a world meticulously constructed around the comfort of sameness and the predictability of the familiar, true difference often registers as an inherent, unspoken threat. Your newfound light exposes what lingers in the shadows. Your authenticity challenges the masks others wear, and your evolving frequency naturally disrupts the old energetic patterns. You are, in essence, vibrating at a different pitch, and those who cannot or will not adjust their own frequency will naturally experience static or withdrawal. This is not rejection. It is merely energetic incompatibility revealing itself. And this brings us to something you absolutely need to understand before you take another step forward. And this profound shift in your spiritual atmosphere brings us to a truth that is absolutely critical for your next season, a foundational understanding you must integrate deeply before you can confidently take another step forward on your divinely appointed path. The immense, often crippling weight you have been carrying, the sorrow, the unanswered questions, the regret, the self-blame, and the profound grief concerning the people who have departed from your life. That heavy burden, you must now consciously, deliberately, and with divine intention, lay it down. Let me be unequivocally clear. This is not to diminish or invalidate the profound pain their departure caused. It did hurt. The sting of rejection, the ache of absence, the feeling of abandonment, the disillusionment, all of it was real, legitimate, and deeply personal. There is no spiritual merit in pretending otherwise, no requirement to bypass the authentic pangs of loss. Your pain was a valid response to a real experience. However, beneath the surface layer of that truth, there lies an even deeper, liberating revelation. Some individuals who journeyed with you were never divinely purposed to be permanent fixtures in the unfolding tapestry of your life. They were, in essence, temporary architects, builders of scaffolding around a previous version of yourself, or perhaps precious waymarkers on a particular segment of your journey. They were divinely assigned to a version of you that through the crucible of growth and transformation simply no longer exists. Think of the caterpillar and the butterfly, the friends of the caterpillar, bound to its earthly crawling existence, cannot comprehend or accompany the butterfly in its aerial, expansive new life. These individuals either served as crucial catalysts, pouring invaluable lessons and support into your becoming, the initial stages of your formation, or conversely, your own radiant, accelerating becoming reached a frequency and a magnitude that they, in their current state, simply could not hold, could not sustain, and could not comfortably accompany. In either scenario, whether their role was completed or their capacity was met, the season for which they were divinely built, the chapter they were meant to share, has now irrevocably closed. To grieve their absence is a natural and healthy part of processing loss. It does not in any way signify weakness or a lack of faith, but to remain anchored to their absence, to cling emotionally and spiritually to a closed door, to endlessly revisit the empty rooms of your past, is to willfully become a prisoner of a chapter that God, in His sovereign wisdom and love, has already definitively turned the page on. It is to tether yourself to a former identity, preventing the full emergence of the magnificent future He is beckoning you into. Release the anchor, beloved one. The current of your destiny is calling you forward. Reflect now upon an exquisite narrative from Scripture, often overlooked in its profound depth and spiritual resonance, the story of the woman with the alabaster jar, an unnamed heroine of radical devotion. This woman, driven by an uncontainable love and an intimate understanding of who Jesus truly was, performed an act of worship that defied all social conventions and economic logic of her time. She dared to walk into a room where her presence was decidedly not invited, a place often filled with judgmental eyes and self-righteous critiques. Yet she came, not empty-handed, but carrying an alabaster jar, a vessel of great beauty and symbolic significance, containing something immensely precious, pure nard, a fragrant, costly perfume. In a breathtaking display of raw, unfiltered adoration, she broke the jar, shattering the container and releasing its precious contents, anointing the feet of Jesus. The very air filled with the rich, unmistakable aroma of her offering. Immediately, a chorus of criticism erupted around her. The onlookers, blinded by their worldly perspectives and legalistic interpretations, swiftly condemned her action. They labeled it wasteful, scoffing at the perceived squandering of a year's wages. They called it excessive, deeming her display of devotion an unseemly, over-the-top performance. They challenged her very worthiness to even be in that room, let alone perform such an act, hinting at her past or her social standing. But Jesus, with his divine gaze that pierces beyond the superficial, saw with perfect clarity what their natural eyes and cynical minds could not. He looked at what they so readily dismissed as waste and declared it worship. He perceived what they deemed inappropriate or out of place and recognized it as a profound act of anointing, a sacred impartation, a spiritual investment. What her short-sighted critics utterly failed to grasp was this foundational truth. What she was releasing, what she was pouring out in such lavish abandon, was not being lost in any ephemeral sense. It was not dissipating into the air, nor was it being squandered in a fleeting moment. Instead, every precious drop, every sacrificial act was being planted into the fertile ground of eternity, securing a legacy of devotion that would echo through time and space. Her loss was, in fact, an eternal gain, a spiritual deposit that would yield an immeasurable harvest. In a remarkably similar, profoundly personal way, you too have been broken open. Life, in its relentless refining crucible, has brought you to moments of profound vulnerability and release, in ways that others, with their limited human understanding, have casually dismissed as waste. Perhaps it was the fracturing of relationships that, to the external eye, appeared to be nothing more than irredeemable loss, a void left behind, or seasons of your life that felt like an excruciating, unproductive stagnation, a period of being stuck in the spiritual wilderness, devoid of visible progress or tangible fruit. Or perhaps it was profound sacrifices you made, choices that, in retrospect or in the eyes of the world, seemed like grave mistakes, missteps that cost you dearly. But hear this profound truth etched into the very fabric of divine love. God, your heavenly Father, has been meticulously catching every single drop, every tear shed in secret, every ounce of strength expended in unseen battles, every fragmented piece of your heart that broke open. He has collected it all. Like a divine alchemist, he transforms your perceived losses into sacred offerings, what you have poured out in secret, in those quiet, solitary moments of surrender, in the fervent, whispered prayers that no human ear ever witnessed, in the courageous boundaries you established that no one applauded or even recognized. Every single one of these acts, he has been counting it. He has not only counted it, but has inscribed it in the ledger of eternity as pure, unadulterated worship. He has registered it as planting, the sowing of spiritual seeds in fertile ground, seeds that will inevitably yield a magnificent harvest in due time, and he has recognized it as crucial preparation, the necessary refining and shaping of your character, equipping you for the unprecedented calling and destiny he has ordained for you. Your brokenness was never for nothing. It was the sacred release of fragrance, a beautiful offering caught by the hands of grace, preparing you for glory. Coming up in just a moment, the one insight about your calling that most chosen people refuse to receive because it challenges everything they were taught about how breakthrough is supposed to arrive. Stay with me. Hold on to that truth, for it is vital. Coming up in just a moment, I will share with you the one profound insight concerning your unique calling, a truth so radical and so contrary to conventional spiritual wisdom that most chosen individuals, even those deeply committed to their path, instinctively resist or refuse to receive it. It challenges the very foundations of their understanding of how breakthrough is truly orchestrated and how it arrives. So stay with me, for this revelation is a game changer. But before we unveil that, there is an even more fundamental truth you absolutely need to grasp. A critical understanding of what is happening to your very identity right now in this precise season of your life. I'm not speaking of your superficial identifiers, not your given name, not your professional title, not your marital status, nor any of the external labels society assigns you. I am referring to your core identity, that deep, immutable interior sense of who you authentically are, the unshakable essence beneath every role you have ever played, every mask you have ever worn, every expectation you have ever tried to fulfill. This, beloved one, is where the real decisive war for your soul is being fiercely fought. The true spiritual conflict is not primarily waged in your financial circumstances, nor in the intricate complexities of your relationships, nor even in the fluctuating conditions of your physical health, though these are often secondary battlegrounds. No, the most strategic, insidious, and devastating battlefield upon which the enemy consistently operates is the silent, often unconscious narrative you meticulously construct and tell yourself about yourself when you are utterly alone, when no one else is in the room to hear, to judge, or to affirm. It is the story playing on repeat in the theater of your mind, the whispered accusations and self-defeating scripts that seek to define you. He, the adversary of your soul, has been cunningly and relentlessly attempting to coerce you into authoring a deeply disempowering narrative. A narrative steeped in lack, scarcity, and profound insufficiency. He wants you to believe the lie that you are perpetually behind, that your life is off schedule, lagging frustratingly behind some imagined timeline of success or fulfillment. He whispers the insidious falsehood that you are fundamentally broken beyond full repair, that your wounds are too deep, your past too scarred, your flaws too numerous to ever be fully healed or wholly redeemed. He relentlessly asserts that the departure of certain individuals from your life was not merely a seasonal transition, but a definitive confirmation, a damning indictment of your intrinsic worthlessness, a proof point that you are somehow unlovable, unwanted, or simply not enough. And the chilling reason he is so strategically committed, so tenaciously invested in perpetuating this disempowering narrative within your inner world, is because he understands a profound truth that you, in your nascent awakening, do not yet fully comprehend or viscerally believe. The very moment you truly, deeply, unequivocally know who you are, the moment you grasp the immutable divine truth of your intrinsic identity, you simultaneously cease to be manageable by his influence. You shed the shackles of manipulability. His cunning tactics lose their power over you. You then naturally, spontaneously, and powerfully step into a posture of divine authority, a spiritual stance, a fortified position against which the darkness has absolutely no entry point, no leverage, no power whatsoever. This is because a soul who is immovably rooted in their divine identity, understanding their inherent spiritual inheritance, has no need to beg, to plead, or to strive for what was already freely, graciously, and eternally given to them before the very foundation of the earth was even laid. They operate from a place of sovereign certainty, a profound knowing that transcends external circumstances. Consider the breathtaking, awe-inspiring declaration found in Ephesians 1:4, a verse that echoes with the very heartbeat of divine intention. He chose us in Him before the creation of the world. This is not merely a comforting platitude or a sweet sentiment to be inscribed on a greeting card, offering fleeting encouragement. This is a cosmic, eternal truth, a spiritual bedrock upon which your entire existence rests. Before your mother ever conceived of your name, before the first pang of hurt ever pierced your tender heart, before any perceived failure ever marred your path, before a single person ever chose to depart from your life, before any of these temporal events occurred, He, the sovereign creator of the universe, chose you. He handpicked you. This is a preordained, irreversible act of divine will, a sacred contract signed in the eons before time began. It is a legal declaration, an unchallengeable decree issued in the highest courts of heaven, a celestial verdict that utterly predates and decisively overrides every single accusation, every insidious lie, every condemnation, and every strategic assault the enemy has ever dared to level against your life. This truth means your worth is not contingent upon your performance, your achievements, your relationships, or your perceived flaws. Your worth is inherent, woven into the very fabric of your being by the hands of the divine. You are chosen not because of what you've done, but because of who He is. This is your unshakable foundation, your eternal identity, your birthright as a beloved child of the King. And now here is what most people miss. And this is the part I promised you was coming. And now, with your identity firmly rooted in divine truth, let us finally delve into the profound insight I promised, the revelation that most chosen people, even those with deep spiritual hunger, find challenging to truly embrace because it shatters conventional expectations of how divine breakthrough is supposed to manifest. You, like many, have likely been conditioned to anticipate breakthrough as a grand, dramatic reversal of circumstances, an immediate, undeniable shift that is outwardly visible and universally applauded. You've been looking for a sudden, overwhelming flood of financial abundance, a public, undeniable vindication against all your detractors, a miraculous season where every single thing that went awry in your life magically rights itself at once, in a fashion so spectacular that everyone around you can bear witness and confirm its undeniable reality. And let us be clear, God, in His infinite power and boundless grace, can absolutely move in such dramatic, awe-inspiring ways. He is the God of instantaneous miracles and spectacular turnarounds. However, sometimes, particularly in the lives of those He is meticulously preparing for an unusually significant, world-altering assignment, for a destiny that requires an exceptionally deep and resilient foundation, breakthrough arrives in a far more subtle, yet infinitely more powerful form. It comes first as a profound breaking of the very patterns, the deeply ingrained habits, the unconscious agreements, and the energetic attachments that have historically kept you vulnerable and reachable by the very forces, people, or narratives that once diminished you, stunted your growth, or kept you bound. This is the unseen internal breakthrough that precedes the external manifestation. In other words, before the tangible, overflowing abundance of heaven can fully manifest in your life, the insidious, subtle appetite for insufficiency, the comfort with just enough or not quite, the ingrained belief that you are undeserving of more must utterly die within you. It is a recalibration of your spiritual hunger. Before the divinely aligned, truly life-giving people can fully enter your sacred space and contribute to your next chapter, the subconscious tolerance for the wrong ones, those who drain you, diminish you, or misalign with your true frequency, must unequivocally end. This is a profound act of self-honor and discernment. Before the platform can genuinely expand, Before your voice can reach its intended global audience, the deep-seated, often unconscious, need for external approval from the wrong audience, those who cannot truly understand or celebrate your authentic message, must completely dissolve, replaced by an unshakable inner authority and divine validation. This internal clearing is the true precursor to sustainable, expansive breakthrough. The full weight of breakthrough is not coming to a former version of you, a version that still passively needs the old environment, the old comforts or the old relationships to feel valid, significant or complete. No, the breakthrough is coming to the new version of you, the one that has been forged and refined, the one that has learned to be utterly whole, complete, and unshakable in the sacred crucible of the wilderness. And that, beloved one, is precisely where you find yourself right now. You are not stuck, marooned in some forgotten corner of time. You are not forgotten by the divine, nor are you forsaken in your journey. On the contrary, you are being profoundly prepared, meticulously purified, and powerfully equipped in this intentional wilderness season, before the metaphorical Jordan River of your life parts and opens wide for your triumphant crossing into the promised land of your destiny. This wilderness is not a punishment. It is a sacred training ground, a silent school of the soul designed to cultivate an internal resilience and divine reliance that will serve you profoundly in the harvest to come. But let me challenge you with something, because this is the confrontation zone, the place where most people want to receive the encouragement but flinch from the examination. Now, let me challenge you, deeply and with profound love, because we are entering what I call the confrontation zone, that sacred, uncomfortable space where the soul is invited to look unflinchingly at its deepest truths. This is often the place where many individuals eagerly receive encouragement, solace, and affirmation, but instinctively flinch, recoil, or divert their gaze when confronted with the necessary, piercing examination required for true, unhindered liberation. You have demonstrated immense patience throughout your arduous process of growth and transformation. You have shown unwavering faithfulness in the quiet, unseen moments of solitude and struggle. You have consistently made the courageous, often difficult choice to pursue spiritual elevation, even when it meant stepping far outside the alluring yet constricting boundaries of familiar comfort. All of that is unequivocally real, profoundly valid, and divinely righteous. You are indeed on the right path. However, in this season of accelerated awakening, there is something profoundly subtle, yet incredibly significant, that you have not yet fully laid down. And this is crucial. It is not a glaring sin that society condemns. It is not an overt addiction that cripples your daily life. It is not even something that your closest spiritual circle would readily identify or label as a problem in the conventional sense. No, this element is far more subtle, more deeply entrenched, and more cunningly integrated into the fabric of your being than any of those easily recognized issues. It is the silent, often unconscious agreement you are still holding, still honoring, still clinging to, with the version of yourself that suffered. This is a profound truth that requires deep introspection. You have undeniably undergone a magnificent transformation in your outward actions, in the choices you make daily. You have developed a keener, more refined discernment, navigating the spiritual currents with greater wisdom. You have shifted dramatically in your habits, your spoken language, and the associations you choose to maintain. Yet, deep within the interior landscape of your soul, beneath the vibrant new frequency you now emit, beneath the palpable elevation you embody, there lingers a residual part of you that continues, however unconsciously, to utilize that old story of suffering, of pain, of past wounds as a foundational aspect of your identity. This is not a conscious performance. It is not a deliberate act of seeking pity or attention. Rather, it is an ingrained comfort, a deeply familiar resonance with the suffering self, a familiar narrative that the fully healed, integrated self has not yet been given complete, unreserved permission to wholeheartedly replace. You can recognize the lingering presence of this agreement, this covenant with your past pain, because it manifests in subtle yet undeniable ways. When genuinely good, truly healthy and divinely aligned things finally begin to powerfully move in your direction, a subtle part of you, deep within, involuntarily flinches. When authentic connection, brimming with genuine health, trust, and unconditional love, shows up at your door, a cautious, guarded part of you instinctively scans for the hidden wound, the inevitable flaw, the impending betrayal that you've come to expect. When true abundance in all its forms begins to lean generously toward your life, a subconscious part of you holds its breath, waiting with bated expectation for it to be inexplicably taken back, for the other shoe to drop, for the blessing to be rescinded. That subtle flinch, that conditioned waiting for the impending setback, is not, as you might mistakenly believe, an act of humility or spiritual modesty. It is in truth a deeply embedded covenant you unwittingly made with the pain of your past, a silent binding agreement that, until this moment, you have not yet formally or consciously dissolved, effectively keeping you anchored to a ghost of your former self. And here is the unexpected revelation that I need you to sit with. And now, prepare yourself for an unexpected, yet deeply liberating revelation, a truth so profound that I need you to sit with it, to allow it to permeate the deepest chambers of your heart and soul. The singular, most pervasive factor that has, in many ways, been subtly delaying the full, unbridled manifestation of your complete breakthrough is not, surprisingly, the relentless opposition of the enemy. It is not the painful departure of those who could not journey with you. It is not even the intense spiritual warfare you've bravely navigated, nor the weight of your divine assignment, nor an issue of divine timing being out of sync. No, the true, often hidden impediment lies in a far more intimate and subtle place. It is the quiet, unspoken, deeply ingrained belief that you are, perhaps, more comfortable being chosen for suffering than you are for glory. This is a challenging truth to confront, but it holds the key to your ultimate liberation. For many who walk the path of the chosen, suffering has become a familiar landscape, a well-trodden terrain. It felt, paradoxically, like proof of your spiritual depth, a badge of honor, a validation of your sensitivity and capacity for empathy. Suffering, in its own twisted way, became the enduring framework, the primary lens through which you understood your own significance, your own worth, your own identity as a spiritual being. It became the narrative that granted you a sense of purpose, even if that purpose was rooted in enduring hardship. And now, in this precise sacred moment, the Most High, in His infinite love and wisdom, is unequivocally asking you, pleading with you even, to release that deeply ingrained framework entirely. He is inviting you to shed the identity that found its meaning primarily through pain. You do not have to earn the next chapter through pain. You do not have to prove your readiness through endurance. You are not more spiritual because you suffered longer. The cocoon was necessary, but you have already outgrown it. And yet part of you is still pressing your wings against the walls out of habit, not because there is no room to fly, but because flight still feels unfamiliar, and familiar still feels safe. Understand this liberating truth. You do not, under any divine mandate, have to earn the magnificence of your next chapter through an perpetuation of pain or prolonged hardship. You are not required to prove your readiness for the glorious, abundant future God has ordained by enduring even more suffering. You are not, by any spiritual metric, rendered more spiritual or more deserving because you suffered longer, bore heavier burdens, or traversed more difficult valleys. The journey through the cocoon of transformation was undeniably necessary. It was a sacred, isolated season of profound change, a period of shedding, restructuring, and profound internal alchemy. It served its divine purpose in shaping you into the magnificent being you are becoming. But here is the critical pivot. You have already, irrevocably, outgrown that cocoon. The internal work is complete. Your wings, strong and iridescent, are fully formed and ready for flight. And yet, a part of you, out of ingrained habit, out of the deep-seated comfort of the familiar, is still pressing against the very walls of that now constricting cocoon. Not because there is genuinely no room left for you to unfurl your wings and soar into the vast open skies of your destiny. No, the infinite expanse awaits you. You are pressing against the walls because the very act of flight, the exhilarating freedom of true elevation, still feels profoundly unfamiliar. And the familiar, even if it was born of suffering and limitation, still registers, however deceptively, as safe. But safety rooted in restriction is not true freedom. It is a gilded cage. It is time to embrace the unfamiliar exhilaration of your true potential. This is your invitation, not to try harder, not to fast longer, not to contend more fiercely, but to open your hands and release the version of yourself that needed the suffering to feel significant, and to step, fully and without apology, into the identity that was declared over you before you ever felt a single moment of pain. This, beloved one, is your profound and sacred invitation. It is not an invitation to strive harder, to expend more effort in externalized spiritual disciplines, to fast longer until you are utterly depleted, or to contend more fiercely in a battle that has already been won. No, this invitation calls you to an act of profound internal surrender and courageous self-acceptance. It is an invitation to gently yet decisively open your hands and release, truly let go of, that persistent version of yourself that for so long unconsciously needed the narrative of suffering to feel significant, to feel worthy, to feel purposeful. It is an invitation to consciously disentangle your identity from your past wounds. And having released that, it is an invitation to step fully, unequivocally, and without a single shadow of apology into the magnificent, divinely declared identity that was pronounced over you before you ever experienced a single moment of pain, before any wound was ever inflicted, before any loss was ever endured. It is the identity of the chosen, the beloved, the heir, free from the tethers of a past that no longer defines your present or your glorious future. Embrace it, for it is yours. And just when you think you have received all of this, there is one more layer. And just when you believe you have fully absorbed the depths of these truths, preparing your spirit for the grand unfolding, there is one more vital layer of understanding, a final piece to this intricate puzzle of divine orchestration. The truly aligned, divinely purposed people who are destined to enter your next season, who are already being drawn to your light, simply cannot locate you, cannot connect with you, cannot fully integrate into your life while you are still deeply grieving, still emotionally tethered, still spiritually anchored in the sorrow and narratives of your last season. The divine connections, the authentically aligned relationships, the synergistic collaborations, the protective covering, and the soul-nourishing community that God, the master architect of destinies, is meticulously designing and assembling for your imminent next chapter. These precious gifts are operating on a specific spiritual frequency. They are actively seeking, discerning, and resonating with the frequency of your arrival, the vibration of your new beginning, the energy of your present and future self. They are not tuning into the fading echo of your departure, the lingering resonance of what was lost or left behind. And every precious day, every valuable moment you spend unconsciously or consciously rehearsing the narratives of what you lost, recounting the pain of past departures, or clinging to the vestiges of old identities, is a day your spiritual signal remains muddled, diffused, and unclear. It's like a radio station broadcasting on a fuzzy frequency, making it nearly impossible for the intended listeners, the very people who are divinely assigned to locate you, to clearly pick up your transmission. Your focus on the past creates static, obscuring the beacon of your future. Raise your signal, not through performance, through presence, through the settled, unhurried, undefended fullness of knowing exactly who you are and refusing to compress that into something more palatable for people who were never called to travel with you into this next place. It is time, beloved one, to consciously and powerfully raise your signal. This elevation is not achieved through outward performance, through striving to impress, or through any artificial display of spirituality. No, your signal is raised through authentic presence, through being fully, courageously, and unreservedly here, in this moment, in your truth. It is manifested through the settled, unhurried, undefended fullness of simply knowing exactly who you are, rooted in your divine identity, unswayed by external opinions or past wounds. It is the radiant confidence that emanates from refusing to compress that magnificent, expansive truth of your being, your unique light, your divine frequency, into something smaller, something more palatable, something less intimidating for people who were never divinely called to travel with you into this next elevated place. Your authenticity becomes your most powerful beacon. The truly kindred spirits, the divine connections, the authentic community, the very ones who are explicitly meant to walk with you in this profound new season, will not, I repeat, will not be intimidated by the brilliance of your light. They will not shrink from your authenticity. On the contrary, they will be irresistibly drawn to it, like moths to a sacred flame, because their own spirits carry the identical frequency, the same divine resonance, the echoes of a shared purpose. They will recognize you, not by your past, but by the undeniable vibration of your present truth. They are already on their way, drawn by the clarity and power of your raised signal, moving towards the place where your destinies are meant to converge. Prepare your heart and your space, for they are closer than you think. Place your hand on your heart right now and speak this with me. I release the identity of the one who suffered and survived. I receive the identity of the one who was chosen before I ever experienced a single wound. I break every agreement I made with lack, with delay, with the belief that I had to earn what was already freely given. I release the people, the seasons, and the versions of myself that were never meant to come with me into this next chapter. I open my hands to receive the fullness of what God has prepared, not as a reward for my pain, but as a fulfillment of my purpose. I raise my signal. I step into my season. I am not behind. I am not broken. I am not losing. I am arriving, and nothing formed against this next chapter shall prosper, because I was chosen before the foundation of the world, and that choosing does not expire. If this message confirmed what your spirit already knew, drop the word arriving in the comments right now. Let that be your declaration that something shifted in you today. And share this with someone who is in the middle of a season they cannot yet explain. Because sometimes the most prophetic thing you can do for someone you love is hand them the exact word they needed at the exact moment they needed it.